Hello, my friends and followers, and any new followers that have joined my channel. I really, really appreciate it. And I always like to let you know to please like and share my videos. I love comments, or you can email me, and the email address is listed below this video. So today my topic is one way to grow is to identify your source of inspiration. And I will explain that in detail. Also, realize that you are your own source of inspiration and your own solution and your own motivation. Only you can do this. No one else can do this for you. Remind yourself that you are in control of your thoughts, your feelings, and your life. Now, I always bring this up because it's true. You weren't taught this. And even so, everyone has a mission, has a life lesson or whatever, has learning things to learn. And we're all guided and geared in our childhood. And if we pay attention, we're on our own path. And no two paths are the same. But you know that someone else who has that path, such as myself, has experienced a lot of those types of experiences. And I personally, again, have tested them and have learned that this is the reality of life. And so I have gone through life on my own path, but I was always guided. And so are you. You are guided too. It's just whether you choose to not ignore your inner being. So, everybody has like different motivations. So, and only when you're ready can you really do this. So for instance, I would say maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 years out of high school, someone gave me a book to read and I looked at it, it looked interesting, and I put it away. And it was about Edgar Cayce. If you don't know about Edgar Cayce, he was an amazing prophet that was on the planet during your parents' lifetime. So not your lifetime, depending on your age, of course. Not my lifetime, but my parents' lifetime. And he has a center in Virginia Beach. But regardless, that's not my point. My point is that when I was ready, that's when I picked up the book. And I read the book, and that book put me on my path because it was very interesting. I could relate to it, and it made a lot of sense. And I don't just shrug things off like, oh, that's not true. If it seems interesting, it feels interesting, so it's truth for you. So from Edgar Cayce, I went to Yogananda, Paramahansa Yogananda. And I loved his book too. I don't remember anything in the book except one thing. And that one thing that I took away from that book has changed my life also. So, then I started to figure out that the only person that you need to know is yourself. And again, it depends on your upbringing. In my personal upbringing, and I'm sure a lot of you didn't have the same upbringing, but you had a similar instance where you weren't taught anything. You weren't raised in a loving environment with loving family like some people have been. And when you're in that situation, no matter how difficult it is, that's what puts you on your path of spirituality. When you're spoon fed and everything comes easy to you, then, you don't need to. I don't know if that's the right word. You don't need to. You're just not motivated to. We all need to be on the spiritual path, but you're not motivated, so you don't go in that type of direction. And unfortunately, a lot of people who don't go in that direction find themselves today as being very stressed and emotional and confused. So find what inspires you. Like, I read Joel Goldsmith. Now, during my childhood years, I was made to believe that I wasn't smart, that women weren't supposed to be smart, that only men are smart, whatever. And it just amazed me that I could actually relate to Joel Goldsmith. His writing was super deep, and it all made sense to me. I mean, reading about how to do something on YouTube makes no sense to me at all. I have a block, and I guess if I really wanted to, I could unblock it, but I always just said, I don't need to know everything. It would help, though, because, technology keeps expanding and changing, and it makes it difficult sometimes. But regardless, it was very deep. And so then, as you get older, you can go back and look at your path and see things that you've done or see how you've been led. And if you're distressed right now, go back and see your path, where you've been led to, because everything has been a string for me, and it's just amazing. It's not a miracle because life is a miracle. So I guess it could be, but it's not the only one, is my point. So what I did was, pick up an astrology book, went to an astrologer, learned that astrology teaches you all about yourself. And back in the 80s, astrology sites on the internet gave you a lot of free information, which they don't really too much anymore. But what I did was study me. And a lot of people think, I don't want to know about myself because it might be bad. And nothing is bad. Nothing. You can change who you are, but you can't change who you are unless you know who you are. And who you are deep is your shadow self. And so it's not easy to find out about yourself. So you can run a report on your sun sign, but it has to be based on your time of birth. And then back in the day, because my life, as I've said before, has been so extremely negative, that my mind always would go to the negative. And to teach myself to be positive was through these books and through my guidance. And I just been lucky that bells go off in my head, and then I start to analyze and learn. So find out what inspires you. And at the time, trust me, I had no clue. I didn't know. But I don't stress over things that I don't know. I ask. And really, before I even knew about my higher self, I always just ask myself a question. I wonder what it means to do this. And then I'd get the answer. So what book is best for me? I don't know. I need some help with that. So I'm asking you to send me some information, a guide through a message, a radio, whatever, just send me the message. And so I would get feelings to go to a bookstore, and I didn't know what book I was going to buy. But because I said I didn't know beforehand and then got the feeling to go, that book was already decided for me. And so when I walk into the bookstore and I look at all the books, one of them would fall off the shelf. And I wouldn't go, oh, well, that was weird or that was a mistake. No, it's thank you. There's my book. I mean, now I can walk into a bookstore, and if there's a book in there that's for me, it just jumps out. And it's like I see the book and it gets lit up, like with a flashlight or something. So just remember, you're always guided and you're always led and you're always taken care of. But you are responsible for that. You have to be open to receive the information and then follow it. So I read Marianne Williamson. She was, I don't remember the name of the book, but it was all about loving yourself. And, we go through these situations in our life that we don't understand. And when you're learning, there's other people who've experienced it and they can teach you. But if they're your teacher, they inspire you. Does that make sense? Like, I'm a teacher now. And if you like what I say, then we have a connection through our soul. And maybe what I tell you inspires you. And that's all that matters. And from my videos, you can learn how to be inspired by yourself. And that's how it works. It's simple. It's simple if you think it's simple. It's easy if you believe it's easy. And trusting is so paramount in trusting yourself. So when you hear something, see something, or read something and it doesn't feel right to you, then it's not for you. That's not for you to bother with. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you or you don't get it or whatever, because it should just click. Just be easy and click. And, I'm personally a major analyzer. So, it's a good thing. And, there's some negatives to it, but whatever. The good thing is that I figure things out. And when you hear something or something inspires you, you feel it in your body. Or when you say things to other people and you get the chills, that means what you're saying to them is your truth, and it's true for them. So if you try to give somebody else information and you tell them something and you get the chills, then that's what they needed to hear. That's their truth too. So it's so important to pay attention to your body, to your feelings, not this. This is ego. This will stop you from learning and changing your life. So you hear something and it seems good, you test it. Now, sorry, get a swig of water here. Some little thing is tickling my throat. Now, way back when I was seeing the psychic hypnotherapist for counseling, which was the best in the world, she had said, because I was so sensitive, and this is great for all you sensitive people, to find this book, Personal Power Through Awareness. That book was like my Bible. It teaches you step by step how to be aware and how to gain your power through awareness. And things that upset you or bother you, you learn why they do and how to heal it. And that book is by Sanaya Roman, which was Snaya and Roman, Roman. Now, that book was a total inspiration and even helped me with relationships. And we all need help with relationships because we weren't taught how to have a relationship. But in any case, just to give you an idea, I mentioned before, when you buy a book, you don't necessarily have to read the whole book, but you can close your eyes and open it up and close your eyes and say, what is my message for today? And open it up and there's your message. I mean, you can do that with anything. I wrote a poetry book, you can get messages off of it. And I figured it out because I was doing it to my Reiki clients that came in for emotional healing and Reiki. And so I always told them, there's a message for you in this book. And I would close my eyes, open the book, read it to them, and it always fit them. You see, what do we stress about? What do we worry about? We worry about our finances. We worry about our relationships. We worry about money, 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 money. And you have the ability to manifest money. You have the ability to create whatever you want. You are your own creator. You're the only person who can motivate you. You are the only person who can inspire you. You do it. And when you continue to go outside of yourself, to your friends and to other people, unless that other person knows something that you don't know, of course that's okay. That's not what I'm saying. But just to put stuff out to a whole bunch of people, you get 5,000 different answers. And what answer is correct? So let me share this with you. I was in elementary school. Now, I was never allowed to know who I was or figure out who I was because I was under complete control of my mother. And if I didn't do what she said I had to do or wear what she wanted me to wear or have my hair the way she wanted me to have it, she would punish me for weeks. So, I mean, for me, and maybe some of you, it took me a long, long time to learn about other things because I wasn't taught as a child. So one thing was, clothes. This is my example. And why would I even think of this? Because I pay attention to my thoughts. So here's a good example about other people's ideas. Everyone's ideas comes from their upbringing, their soul, which you have no idea about, their life, their influences that are not the same as yours. So just to give an example of something super easy is, let's say you want to buy an outfit and you want to wear it to a wedding or a suit or whatever, and you want it to be right. And you ask all these people, or you ask your friends to come with you. Should I buy this? Should I buy that? Or you post things on social media. Here's a picture of my dress. What do you think of this? And so this is what I did. I gathered all these kids in grammar school. Around, and I stood in a circle. I stood in the middle of a circle, and I went to one by one. What do you think about my dress? Do you like my dress? No. Do you like my dress? Yes. Do you like my dress? It's okay. And everybody had a different opinion. What about the color? What about the length of my skirt? Whatever. And that's when it hit me. Do you know that everybody has an opinion, but it doesn't mean it's a right opinion or a wrong opinion? Whose opinion matters? My opinion. If you love yourself, you don't need to ask other people how you look because you're always beautiful. So this is what I'm trying to express to you. What inspires you? So much inspired me that led me on all these paths. When in school they said the moon controls the tides, I didn't stop it there. I'm like, well, if the moon can control the tides, the moon can control the people. I mean, I'm 10 years old. Why would I think that? But that's the thought that came to my head. And, going through astrology, and not even at 10, but years later, it was true. The moon does control people. I don't like to use the word control. Influence. Let's use that word, influence you. But all I'm trying to say to you is be your own inspiration. And when you don't know what inspires you, if you don't know what your passion is, then ask. But don't ask other people. Ask your guides. Ask your higher self. And they will send you people who will answer that for you. Or you'll hear it on a radio. You'll hear it walking down the street by somebody else having a conversation. You'll hear it standing in line at a grocery store as you're stressed out because you're in such a hurry when you don't even realize that the line was there for you to get this message. Everything happens for a reason. So the universe is never against you. They're always here to help you. It's a matter of your own mindset. When you're depressed, inspire yourself. Sometimes I get depressed out of the blue and I know that I picked up somebody else's energy. You learn these things and then you get rid of it. You ask your higher self, did I pick up someone's energy? Yes, and you clear it with all the tools that you have. So this is something, if you need a tool to clear energy, hit me up and I'll give you one that's great. But in any case, things become in sync. That's synchronicity is increased 20,000 times. So everything syncs. Now for me, if I want to hear from somebody that I haven't heard from in maybe 6 months, all I have to do is think of, I wonder how that person is doing, and they'll contact me the next day. It happens 99% of the time. Why does that happen? Because I'm energy. My energy put a thought out to that person. That person picked up the thought of me and thought, gee, I wonder how Maxine's doing, and contacted me the next day. This is how everything works. If you could only see how you are gifted with all the tools, all the information, and all the help you need, and healing that you need. And your mind is so powerful that you can create with it good and bad. you can continue down a road of negativity, look at your thoughts. So, really, one of the best ways to grow is to find something that inspires you. Someone who inspires you, I should say, because your inspiration is going to come from someone who has learned already. And that could be through people like me or books or whatever. So I just want you to understand and to realize that you have a whole world of possibilities, of information, everything that you need, all the healing that you need, as long as you take it from yourself and ask if that's for you and find things that inspire you and stay away from negativity. Stay away from drama. You know, why do you think these movies are so dramatic? And what is it that they make money off of by your desire to see bad things? Because that's how you've been programmed. You know, the shootings. You watch these movies of shootings and killings, and trust me, it gets planted here. And then, you know, someday you might think, gee, maybe, is it safe for me to go out? Is it safe for me to do this or that? Because you've been manipulated into this thought, and that's what is inspiring all of you, is all this negativity. So, to behave in a certain way. I mean, this is a bingo. This is a boom. You know, you've been inspired by drama, by evilness, by negativity, by stress, by strain, by food, by pharmaceuticals. Get rid of all that crap and become inspired. And when you become inspired, your whole life changes. It's kind of like the person, which I don't relate to, but that was an alcoholic and couldn't see through the forest of the trees, or however you say that. And, you know, became clean and said, oh my God, how my life has changed. Because anything that's negative draws on more negative, and alcohol is very negative. And then you draw on more and more of it, and then it just becomes an illness, a sickness, a depression, anxiety, fear, stress creates anxiety. You don't want that. And you brought it to you, and you can get rid of it. So, that's my message for today. Learn how to be inspired. Learn to find out what inspires you. And see life as magical as it is, and as a paradise, which it is that too. I hope you all have a blessed day. And please remember to like, share, and comment. Thank you for joining me.